All right, good afternoon. We are from Group 10. We are going to be presenting about decision analysis with sample information. So the outline for today consists of 5 main topics. The first one, we're going to touch base on the summary of the technique. Then we're going to show you the real-life application by showing 2 different examples. And then we're going to explain the correlation with other techniques and the closing. But before that, here are our team members, so we get to know each other better. And so, without further ado, let's start with the first summary, the first part, which is the summary. So, in this slide, you can see that this is the high-level summary of the decision analysis, what it is all about, and the classification. So, from this one, we can see that decision analysis can be classified into 2 main categories: without probabilities and with probabilities. Without probabilities, we have 3 approaches that was covered in lecture 3A. And with probabilities, actually can be further classified into without sample information and with sample information. Without sample information, it was covered in the lecture 3A as well with expected value approach. And the main focus for our presentation is with sample information. So the decision makers sometimes has an option to obtain additional sample information to update or revise the state of nature probabilities for a better decision-making process. So the approach that we use is expected value approach, but however, we need to include the Bayes theorem calculation into our analysis. So next, we're going to touch base about Bayes theorem. And in here, in Bayes theorem, we were introduced with 4 different probabilities. And they are listed here on the first row. And we have the definitions here on the second row. And they are not in the right order, and they don't match with the definition. So I need your help to let me know which one is the right order and to match with the corresponding definitions. So for those of you who can help me to do that, can get a gift, like a mini chocolate from us. So, writing. Okay. So let's start the first one. The probabilities of the state of nature prior to obtaining sample information. Which one among those 4 probabilities? Chocolate one? Yes, prior probabilities. Prior probabilities, yes, correct.
Yay.
And you got the chocolate. And then the second one, probabilities based on sample information. Anyone? This I can answer too. Right, I know, but it's legal here. It's legal here. So, which one is that? The second one?
Shear probability.
Sorry? Which one? You can see the shape actually. It's not obvious, right? Conditional, yes, correct. You get the chocolate, sorry?
Even with chocolate, they not answer.
And the third one, the probabilities of the combination of both sample information and the particular state of nature occurring simultaneously, intersection. So, joint probabilities.
Yeah.
I don't know how to split chocolate though.
Just share it together.
Share it. And then the last one, yeah, it's posterior. So basically, we revise the probabilities based on the sample information. So that's the Bayes theorem. And then a little bit touch base about the expected value of sample information. You can use this formula and to cover the ABSI. And then the risk profile here, we will introduce with this concept, which provides us profitability distribution for the possible payoffs, which will assist decision makers in assessing the risk associated with different decision alternatives. So let's get to the second part, which is the examples. The first example is about the operations management, and the next one is about finance. So the first one here is a problem of the operations management, and in order to be easier to identify the issue, I would like to highlight the keywords. So this is a manufacturing company that has 2 decision alternatives, whether they can manufacture or purchase the component part for the product. And the profit itself depends on the demand. And we have 3 different demands here. And we have the possibility of low, medium, and high, which is the prior probabilities. And also, in here it says that a test market study of potential demand of product is expected to report either a favorable or unfavorable report. So here is the conditional probability. And then the questions, there are 3. What is the optimal decision strategy? And then what is the expected value of sample information? And also the risk profile. And then we need to follow this concept of 4 steps to answer the problems. The first one, create a cluster diagram, and then going to defining the decision analysis, the state of nature, and also the consequence. and then create decision tree and apply the base theorem, and the last one is apply the expected value approach. And then, yeah, this is the first one. This is the influence diagram, if you might be all aware about that and familiar. And then the next one, we need to define all these parameters. And then we will need to populate the decision tree. And we need to fill in these probability numbers here on the right. And in order to do that, we need to create these two different tables, favorable and unfavorable, to calculate the posterior probabilities in the end. And after calculating that, we can finally have the full data set for the decision tree. And then going to the step 4, we apply the expected value approach. And since this is talking about profit, we need to use the higher one. And based on this, the decision strategy is that if the report shows a favorable report, then the company should manufacture because the EV of manufacture is higher than purchase. And then if the report is a favorable report, then the company should purchase because the EV of purchase is higher than the manufacturer. And then to answer the second question on the EV SI, we need to calculate the EV without SI, which is the sum product of the prior probabilities with the possible payoffs. And then we need to calculate the EV with SI, and we need to see the difference here, 3.65. And the last one is to construct risk profile, and we have a cleaner version of the decision tree, and we can create this risk profile table. So this is for the decision maker to decide whether this risk range meets with their risk tolerance profile. So that's for example 1, and we are moving to example 2, which will be presented by Ivan.
Okay, thank you, Mas Erido, for the insightful overview. I think we agree that the best way to remember things is not to memorize it, but to practice it over and over. So we have another example here, which is quite similar. So in this question, we could extract some important information here. So manager has two options, either to invest the 5 million cash for growth stocks or for the value stocks. And then we're also able to find the prior probability, which is 0.2, 0.5, and 0.3 for the economic growth being high, medium, or low. And then we could also find this information about the states of nature, and the combination with the probabilities, the economic growth. And then we could also find the favorable and unfavorable report here, along with the probability. But hey, look at this. We can only see the probability of the favorable report. So where's the unfavorable report? Remember what Misa said last week, that the total amount of probability of favorable and unfavorable report is always 1, so we can conclude that the probability for unfavorable report for state of nature 1 is 0.1, and then state of nature 2 is 0.45, and then state of nature 3 is 0.9, and so on. Remember that during our exam. And similar with before, so our first step is to fully understand the problem and then formulate it into influence diagram. Does anyone remember what is the second step? Anyone?
Defining the states.
Okay. Define the decision alternatives, then define the states of nature, and then the consequence. After that, we can create a decision tree and try to apply the best term to calculate the expected value of the information. Similar with before, the step is to formulate into influence diagram. It's quite familiar for us. We have the states of nature, and then the consequence and the decision alternatives. And there's all the parameters, the growth stock, the value stock, the decision alternatives, and the states of nature is S1 to S3. And then we have the value that we're going to calculate later. And then we build the decision tree here along with all the respective probabilities. And here through Excel we could find the joint probabilities from the prior and conditional probabilities. And then we could calculate the posterior probabilities from these joint probabilities we calculated. After that we could formulate it into Excel. And then we could determine which one has the best or the optimal solution. As you can see here, the investment option for the growth has a better option than value stocks when the report is favorable, and when the report is unfavorable, the value stock has a better solution compared with the growth stock. And then after that, we could calculate the expected value of separate information similar with before. We could just subtract the value from the expected value with information minus expected value without information. And then the final value is 3,450. And this is the risk profile. Just like before, we selected the optimal solution for both favorable and unfavorable report. And then lastly, before our closing, the correlation of this material is related to, still within the branch of prescriptive business analytics, which we already learned for the past 3 weeks. And then it also related to the material that Enrico has told before, and research has told us for the past 3 weeks. It's as an extension of the decision analysis one, which previously we learned without the Bayes theorem and without risk profile and known probabilities. You just the risk value of the growth stock, states of nature, and the decision alternatives. And now we could calculate a more precise and robust decision based on the probability, based on the data that we have to revise the states of natures. And this is a little code for us. So the key concept of this sample information will make our decision more robust, just like how we know that Melbourne weather is very random, so we could just check our forecast to determine whether we need an umbrella or not, or we need to plan to travel or not, something like that. And this is from us. Any question? Yes?
What software are you using for the presentation? It's so cool.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, answer.
It's confidential.
Yeah, it's a company secret, sorry. Then use the PowerPoint, just typical PowerPoint, with a little effort.
With additional effort.
Yeah.
Efforts. Efforts.
Any question?
Not mine. This job, not my job. To do the presentation, so you must.
Create a presentation, your job?
Me and Bob. Okay, I think that's it from us. Thank you guys for your